Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Lord Dunamis, and today I'm going to be talking about Battlefront, the new Battlefront that is. So I'm playing Blast today, and it's on Jakku somewhere. I don't know how to pronounce that. Gazan Badlands, I think maybe. But anyway, I just want to talk about Battlefront in general, and I want to discuss it specifically in terms of pros and cons, and maybe provide some personal insight as to why I feel like a lot of people don't like it and a lot of people do. So basically, I'm just gonna start out with some of the pros. I mean, let's look at what comes to us first. The graphics, obviously. It's a beautiful game. It looks like a next gen console game should. I mean, the effects are great. The animations are pretty good. But it looks like a really good game. It looks like a PlayStation 4 or an Xbox One game or a ultra setting PC game should. It really does. And I think that they did that really well. And so I think that's something that we should keep in mind that should be appreciated, even though, there's a lot of people, don't like it, and a lot of people do. But I think that the graphics are something that everyone can agree on that make it relatively fun. But moving on to my second point of emphasis for the pros. I mean, the game itself is pretty fun, especially if you have friends to play with. It's pretty fun. Um, I mean, if I play Blast or I play like heroes versus villains with friends, like I can enjoy that. Like I can get into that and play it. And the gameplay, I mean, itself is fun. It's enjoyable if you're not a serious hardcore gamer. I mean, you can enjoy this game. There's players of all level types on this game. I mean, there's guys that are really good, and then there's guys that are fairly new, um, or girls, whatever. I'm not sexist, but anyway, another neat feature that I want to address is the partner play. I think that works really well if you're playing with a friend. Um, it really helps to be able to spawn on them if they're like in a tight situation or whatever, and like you can spawn on them and slay like five guys, and like get your friend out of it. Like that's fun. Like it gives you a sense of teamwork, and it allows you to feel like that you're really helping your team or that you're helping your teammate. And so I think that's something that they did well with this game. In terms of the partner play, I will say that the whole party thing is kind of confusing at times, but once you really get the hang of it, it's not that bad at all. But so now I'm gonna head into the main really meat of this video that and I feel bad just degrading this game, but it's not really degrading. It's just talking about things that I think they need to work on. So for some of the cons that I personally see is a lot of the customation is pretty silly to me. I mean, the Shadow Trooper, now that's actually like in the Scout Trooper, like that's pretty cool. And I guess I understand why they like made it to where you can take your stormtrooper helmet off or whatever and like have a bunch of different skins and stuff. But to me, that doesn't feel right. Like it takes away the sense of being immersed in the Star Wars universe as one of Vader's like stormtroopers, because you lose that sense of animosity. Like the thing about stormtroopers was they were intimidating because there was so many of them, and they were all faceless and they were all nameless. They were a legion of these guys, and whenever they do that, it adds to customization and it kind of makes things a little bit unique, but not really at the same time, because there's literally hundreds of people walking around with the same uh, alien head. I mean, so to me it doesn't really feel like customization. It just feels like a lack of taking that away. And I mean, it's not as really a big of a deal with the rebels, because obviously they weren't all uniform and all the same like the stormtroopers were, so that's fine for the rebels. But I feel like something else that could have been in like implemented, like armor customization or something, like according to rank. Like I think that would have been something a lot neater than, oh, I can be an alien when I take my helmet off. But and another point I want to address in terms of cons would be the lack of space battles. which I think honestly EA will probably bring in a DLC, and you'll pay $60 for it. I don't know. I don't know if it's already confirmed or not. I think maybe it is. I haven't really been keeping up on the news lately, but I think it may be already confirmed, but or it may not. I don't know. But anyway, it was a really big part of the game that people wanted, because I mean, what's more fun than like you're in a giant Star Destroyer, you're in a giant Republic cruiser, or in like a giant Separatist ship, and you just hop in a freaking X-wing or whatever, or a TIE fighter or whatever, and you fly out and you go into battle, and you destroy the other person, you destroy the other team's ship. Like, that was fun. Like, that really gave you a sense of like, wow, I'm like in the Star Wars universe, flying a ship, just destroying things. And I think that really disappointed a lot of people when they didn't bring it in. But I think at the same time, a lot of people expected them. And I'm not trying to diss DA or EA, but they kind of have a notorious reputation for adding things into lately for paying, you have to pay for that content. But anyway, another point that I want to bring up that kind of falls in line with like the whole vehicle space battle thing, and I fell right there with that rocket. But anyway, the vehicle system, like, I don't like that. I don't like it at all. I don't like having to sit there and, like, I understand that they're trying to make it. Actually, I don't really understand what they're trying to do with that, because to me it's not nearly as fun or like realistic as a bunch of vehicles lined up and you go jump in them and like have giant tank battles in the middle of the map. And like, that was fun for me. Like, that was really fun, and I know a lot of people enjoyed that too. Like, tanks, just like, can you just imagine tanks like in the middle of this, like, just going at it, just big armored vehicles, a big battle blowing shit up. And so I think a lot of people missed that too. And that's something that I know that wasn't really liked about the game. But one of my final points is it feels like a DLC itself. Like, to me, it doesn't feel like its own game. The lack of like single player like depth. Like, I know there's some missions and stuff, but there isn't really a lot of depth to it, and that was disappointing to me too. And it doesn't feel like a very in-depth game. And my last point I'm going to bring up is the game doesn't really appeal to Star Wars fans at all. It just doesn't feel like Star Wars. It lost that sense of, I'm in the Star Wars universe, and that's really disappointing to a Star Wars fan like me, and so, and I know it disappointed a lot of other people. But that's it for this video, guys. Tell me what you think in the comments below. If you like it, if you don't, I mean, unlike it. But so thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate it. We'll see you later.